Coach Monica. I'm joined today by Coach Darcy, and we are here to guide you through the ins and outs of a lifestyle that's transformed not just our lives, but the lives of countless women navigating the waves of perimenopause and menopause. Whether you're here to shed weight, understand your body better, or simply find a community that gets it, you're in the right place. So sit back and enjoy the next few minutes as we tackle the hot issues of today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Good to see everybody this morning. I am having to go around my Facebook ban.
Still?
Yep.
Man, it's like they must have really been angry with your
Me selling GLP-1s.
Yeah, I still have my pencil in my hair.
Oh, so I have to take a couple of seconds here to share and just give us 1 second here. Here we go. Share to the groups and share to my private page. That is Van. Yeah, it is so annoying. And there's nothing you can do. There's no backup. I appealed. Nothing works. So we carry on. Good morning, everybody.
A way around it.
There is. Until they find it and say, oh, you shared Coach Darcy's post and there's your face on her video. Morning, everybody. It's good to see you. It's a Tuesday morning. Still snowy here. But yesterday I did hear some drips outside. So those gave me a little bit of hope that maybe spring is coming.
Maybe.
Hopefully. And we're going to just do a test live this morning because we looks like we have some lag on our video. So if we end early, that is why. So hope you're all doing well. We have a topic today. So our heart and our passion is how do you keep weight off? When you work so hard and you you do all of the things so you think and you fail, constantly fail. It's just the diet culture we live in. It's the diet loop we've been on for years and years. And so many times we think, oh, it's our fault. I'm the only one with this problem. I'm the only one that can't keep the weight off. I might as well take drugs. Drugs are the only way that I'm going to be able to keep this weight off. And we just surrender. We just surrender our health in the name of skinny. And so we're going to talk today a little bit about why. And there's something that I say, and it's going to sound like I contradict myself a little bit because I do that with myself at least 10 times a day. But I'm a person that believes that you can believe two truths. So we're going to kind of dig down a little bit today. One of the things I always say a lot in my posts, and I mean every word, is the diets didn't work because you quit. Everything we've tried, we've just quit. And if you just did it long term, you could keep the weight off, which is true. However, to counter my opinion on that, it goes a little bit deeper. So we're just going to take a shovel and we're going to take that statement, diets don't work because you quit, and we're going to dig down a layer, okay? And we're going to say today that diets didn't work because you quit, but why did you quit? And so most diets don't fail because you quit. They fail because they were never built to work long term. If you've heard this, if you've heard it once, I've heard it 1,000 times. If you just stayed consistent, if you just wanted it more, if you just didn't give up, right? We say it all the time. And now there's a portion of truth into that. But when we take that attitude, it just kind of keeps that shame alive. It just keeps you stuck. So we want to just dig a little bit deeper to talk about what actually happened. What actually happened when you quit? Yeah, it didn't work because you quit. But why? and what is the layer right underneath the surface of that? So Darcy, do you want to kick us off when we as we talk about this today?
Yeah. So, like you were saying, they fail because they were never built to work long term. I think the idea when people are starting something new, they kind of they don't say it out loud, but I think that their hope is that it does last long term, and that whatever hard work, whatever products that they are taking, is the thing that keeps them thin and skinny and healthy until they die. But that's not what the diet culture tells us. It tells us something else. It says, well, if you just stayed consistent, you wouldn't have failed this. Or if you just wanted more, you wanted it more than what you are saying that you wanted it. Or if you just didn't give up, which was like the initial, like if the quitting part, if you just didn't quit, that story and that cycle is why people keep in that same cycle of it keeps shame alive, and it keeps people stuck because they keep repeating and having hope that this one finally is going to be the thing that works. This is finally going to be the thing that gets me out of this pit of despair that I've been living in. So most of those diets actually are asking you to ignore the addiction, which you talk highly about and you know a lot about, because you pointed out to not only yourself in discovering this, but also to me, the vast array of addictions with food and with sugar and with ultra processed. So I remember you talking a couple weeks ago about how you can't really pinpoint addiction to just one thing, and so there's not really a good word that makes it link all together, because you say that there's so many different types of addiction out there. There are those that have that addiction to sugar, and that there's those people that have addiction to just food in general, or carbs, or even just the action of eating like that becomes an addiction too. Also, most diets ask you to override hunger hormones. Listen, when you age, you're just screwed. You don't have that metabolism like you used to when you hit a certain age. But the next one is fight stress with willpower. Well, we all know we're not born with willpower, so how do we have willpower? Then the next one is to restrict harder when your body resists, and that it's not discipline, right? It's a setup of a biological setup for failure right there. All of those right there is because we're just expected to know all these things when we do a lifestyle change, right?
Right. Yeah. And so what people do is they get on this little fad diet. They get on this little, if I just follow the rules and, and do the things, then it's going to work. I'm going to white knuckle it. Thing is, they lose weight when they're white knuckling it. They lose weight. They start to feel good. They start to feel sexy. The scale is their judge, not their coach. And they take their affirmations from that scale when they're white knuckling it. And then, they feel powerful. They feel good. They're like, yes, I found the Holy Grail. It's going to work for me, until the cracks appear, until you're asked out on a date, until you have to go to that baby shower. And then you have to break the rules. And the cracks look different for everybody. For some people, for a lot of our clients, a crack occurs when they avoid the coach, when they stop coming to group, when they hide because of shame, or because they think they know why their body's not reacting to weight loss, so they start to hide. Then they start to not track their food. It's like a slippery slope, and we can tell it when we meet with a client in a session. We know exactly when those cracks are starting to appear, and our job as coaches is to take the spackling and fill in those cracks again, and infuse them with a little bit of courage and a little bit of knowledge about what their body's actually doing. And so we're able to patch those cracks. But most people who do this weight loss thing with no coach and no accountability, those cracks suddenly start to spread, and suddenly you've got a pothole in the middle of your journey, and then the hunger in the midst of that is getting louder. You're starting to think about eating more. You're starting to bring on that shame again, which says, oh, see, you couldn't do it anyway. See, this one is going to fail you as well. Then your energy starts to drop. You'll probably stop taking your supplements, and your energy drops. And then you're in the circle of shame again. And eventually, when you quit, it actually feels like a relief, because it's like a self-prophecy. See, I knew you couldn't do it anyway. And that's when the failure really starts to form. And we see this diet culture, this diet, circle of shame again. See, I told you you couldn't do it. And we're so used to that language in our head anymore that doesn't even scare us anymore. It's just like a self-prophecy. See, I told you. And a lot of us, especially those that deal with a lot of trauma from their childhood, they hear those words, and it's almost a comfort to them. See, I knew you couldn't do it anyway. And then that follows a Snickers bar, because we're full of shame and we're full of failure, and it's a circle. Yeah. And so that is the circle of we call it the circle of shame. And that's when diets fail. And so today, what we want to kind of do is just put the pieces back into that puzzle before we put the puzzle away, and talk about, what those diets don't account for. It's not you. It's a metabolical issue. It's not you. So Darcy, talk a little bit about, when you think about this circle of shame and these diet wheels that we've been on for 40 years, some of us longer, what don't these diets account for in the big picture, when that and that voice in our head is saying, see, I told you, see, I told you. Yeah. What is that voice missing?
Well, the underlying portion of this, and it adds up into what you just talked about white knuckling it and feeling powerful in the moment when you're in a some sort of diet that you're doing. We don't understand, or we don't take into recognition that food is being used to regulate our emotions, to soothe those stressors, to stabilize your blood sugar. Removing it without support, that doesn't feel like that's the problem, but what it does is it intensifies it. So then what you were saying is, when you feel like that cycle of shame, you're feeling an intense feel. So when you decide to quit, that's where that huge release comes from, because it's so intense that all of a sudden, or when it's being pulled, it then breaks. And then it's, of course, when something breaks like that, it's like it relieves that tension and gets you like, oh, yeah, so I shouldn't be doing this. I feel so much better than what I did. But we now need to realize that we've got to understand that those things that we need to break all equal into a whole. It's not like going piece by piece by piece by piece. We have to work it all as a whole, right? Like our body is not just individually working one piece at a time. Your pancreas isn't working alone. It's working with the kidneys, and the kidneys are working with the pancreas, and then the stomach also has a big part of all this. And then your stomach is then connected to your brain, which then puts that huge cycle of like, well, that's connected to how healthy your gut is. Your brain and your gut, they're like one. So my point of bringing that up is that you usually when you are dealing with a lot of things aside from food, if you're taking food out of the picture and you're dealing with stress, you're dealing with all those emotions, and we are looking for something constantly to soothe those issues. So that's when our diet culture says, when that does snap, our diet culture does say, see, you didn't stick with it. You failed. You did it wrong. Oh, that's not how you keto, or, oh, that's not how you carnivore. It must have been because you were not 100% like lion. So you can't consider yourself a winner here because you just didn't do it right. But there's one part that no one says out loud, and it's quitting, was your nervous system trying to survive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we talk about the intensity of all of that and the breaking of things, breaking of, say, a ligament. It's like if you break a ligament, it like makes the whole leg or wherever the ligament is not function right. So that was holding it together. So you weren't broken. It was the method that you were using.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
saying that, like, what would you say that most diets don't account for when you have all of these things in the picture of your emotions, the stress, the kids, the husband, all of the things in your life that also equal into this lifestyle change?
Yeah. Yeah. So when you break that, and another thing about that is your body knows what makes it feel good. It knows that if I can just get her to break this and she puts that sugar in her mouth, that is going to reconnect those dopamine pathways and that's going to make her feel better. And that's going to fix everything. So that's another reason why your body's relieved when you say, see, it didn't work, because it just knows it is so self-adapting. That's why we've been here, for thousands of years, because our body knows how to stay alive. And one of its big ways is to push the dopamine and make everything calm again. I just need to be calm again. When you do all of these restrictions and these weird diets and all of these things, you may know in your head what you're doing, but those diets do not account for the fact that maybe you are a food addict. Maybe you are a sugar addict. Maybe you depend. Maybe you're a convenience addict where you just don't feel like cooking. And so it's so much easier to go open a package and a processed food, right? So those diets don't account for the addiction. If you have an addiction, you got to do some serious work. And that's where the hard work comes in. And that's where the pit is very, very large. Whether it be emotional or whether it be chemical, diets don't account for that, right? They don't account for insulin resistance, which needs to be a whole show in and of itself. Insulin resistance, by the way, if you have that, it's not pre-diabetes, it's diabetes. And you see insulin resistance 10 years before you're officially diagnosed from the doctor with type 2 diabetes. Insulin resistance is a powerful hormone. That's your weight gaining hormone. If you have insulin resistance, you have to heal that before you end up losing weight long term. The diets don't account for your stressful life. They look pretty on a picture, on a piece of paper of a list of rules to follow, but it doesn't account for your life and your diapers that you're changing every day, your marriage, your marriage issues, your relational issues, your stress, just your schedule alone. That's the number one. I mean, I'm not going to say number one because the sugar addiction and all that's pretty powerful, but that is one of the key reasons that you can't follow a list of rules, is because our lives in this day and age are coming at us so fast. Diets don't account for that. I don't believe in meal plans for that very reason. I love meal plans for recipe ideas, but meal plans fail because of your stress and your actual real life. And when cortisol is high, your insulin is spiking, which creates insulin resistance, which feeds addiction. It's all intertwined. And so when you quit before you find victory, your diet didn't account for that. It didn't account for the fact that we've been starving ourselves. The number one reason why people will gain weight back after a GLP-1 is because of metabolic adaptation, because you're not eating enough and your body adapts to that lower caloric intake. And you've now got yourself metabolic adaptation, which is very difficult. It is very, very real that it can be healed, but it is very difficult when you have starved yourself for so long, whether it be the fasting fad that's out there, whether it be the GLP-1, whether it be restriction, your body adapts. And so when you adapt at a lower calorie, you cannot lose weight. The only way you can lose weight on a metabolic adaptation is if you lower your calories 200 calories. Well, when you're at 800 calories to 1,000 calories, you can't physically live on that. It takes 1,200 calories to keep a toddler alive. So it also doesn't account for just your basic need for safety and support, right? We have a biological need for safety. There are some clients that I won't even start on macros until we get their body safe again, because they have been damaging it for so long on diet after diet that they're broken. And I need to let that body know that this client is safe. She's not starving. Everything is fine. Everything is fine, right? So the body's need for safety and support is a powerful tool for crashing your next diet. So my clients tend to, when they come to me broken, they tend to treat eating like a math problem. And if I just eat less, I'll lose weight, which some of them can't eat less because they're already starving themselves. And so it's a math problem to them, instead of opening up their vision scope to see, okay, I am struggling with food addiction. I am struggling with insulin resistance. I am struggling with my life being out of control. And so when all of that is ignored, it pushes you back. It gets you in that cycle of dieting again. That's why people yo-yo diet. That's why people, that's why they fail. And so that is a big, powerful tool if you just widen your scope a little bit to understand that this is a whole body issue, right?
Yeah. And I think we go through these situations because, we go stay in these cycles because, I'm so weak at this. I have so many temptations in my life. I can't focus on the social aspect. That I feel like the more I am a part of this program and as a coach, I see how much the social media, how much the social aspects, even the people that live in your household, can define like if you're going to do great or not. Yeah. If you are going to listen to what the world is telling you versus what you know about you. You know yourself better than anybody else. You know how your body works as long as you give it an opportunity to learn about it. That's why I'm going to bring up the CGM program. Like I love our CGM program because it gives us a window into understanding how your body works best, what your body needs, not the person next to you, not the person in the same room, not the person in the other office that has lost 100 pounds. Yeah. You have to be able to understand the data about yourself. And I think that's why a lot of diets fail, because we aren't given a good foundation when it comes to how to change our lifestyle. Yeah. And this series isn't about another diet. This one is about understanding why quitting makes sense, why we quit. Yeah. Why do we not always think, oh, this is really hard, I guess I'm done because I clearly can't do this, or why fast fixes backfire. Right. Those quick shots, those quick pills, all of those things are not a long-term foundational lifestyle change. So once you get off them, once you decide I'm broke, or once you decide this isn't actually working for me, it backfires. Right. You go backwards because you didn't fix the foundational portion of your lifestyle change. Yeah. And then the other one is huge. I think addiction and it has to be addressed for sure. Yeah. Like I learned a lot about myself when I learned how I work mentally in society with people around me, and how certain things in the past and how I was raised affect me to this day, and how those pieces are so important in realizing that I am a food addict of some sort. Right. A volume eater. That's kind of like I think you say you're a volume eater as well, and I feel like that's where I am. But I wouldn't have known that just starting in on a program that says, hey, lose 30 pounds in 3 months, and then you can be done. And then what? Also understanding that why metabolism must be repaired. It must be, in order for your body to feel safe, like you were talking about. When your body does not feel safe, it's going to be like, well, yes, you are giving me food, but it's not enough energy for me, so I'm going to store it somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's used to you eating 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day, and then you jump it down to 800. It's like, whoa, what the heck?
Yeah.
I have all this body fat to lose, but I am not giving you any of it because I don't know when my next meal is. You have deprived me of all this nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so once you are able to then do this in a foundational way where you know your body well, you have the data about yourself, you know how much you need to be consuming, it starts to repair itself. That's why when people get on this lifestyle, a healthier lifestyle where they nix out all the ultra processed food and they focus on, zero sugars even, they notice that their body feels so different. They start reversing and not needing those medications. Like to me, that is their body being like, oh, well, I can function properly now. I don't need this help anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's the key with that, Darcy, is so many times we're a black and white society. And I know there's a word for this, but I know my lifestyle is stressed. I'm just not going to go into any social situations. I can't, if I'm on a diet, I can't go into any social situations. And so I'm not going to go to that. I'm not going to go to that baby shower because I'm just going to fail. And we take a hot or cold aspect when in fact, what we should be doing is, okay, no, I am going to a baby shower today. I know there's going to be cake, mince, and punch. What am I going to do? Instead of not going, we're so dramatic in this day and age. I've always been dramatic. And so this is like speaking to myself. Well, I'm just not going to do it. And what that does is it isolates you from life if you actually stay home from these events, instead of saying, well, how can I get around this? What can I do? Can I go to that baby shower? Can I eat a meal first before I go to that baby shower? And then socially, when I get there, I'm going to go grab myself a hot cup of coffee. I'm going to put a lot of cream in it. And I'm going to sit there with this cup of coffee in front of me, sipping and listening to your stories, knowing that I already fed my body. So I'm not needing anything. I'm not going to compromise while I'm here because I know what that sugar is going to do to my body. And I know I'm a food addict. I know I'm a sugar addict, but I can't sit here, socialize with you, and enjoy myself. And then if I'm hungry when I get home, I'm going to go grab a keto treat. I'm to the point, I don't care what people think. I am and I think you have to be maybe 48 before you enter this stage in life. I think that's probably the age that we do not care movement.
Yeah,
I am there. I do not care what people think
40.
of my opinion. Huh?
It's actually 40, but I've adopted myself into that a little early.
You can come in our club. You've done all the things to come into the club. So we will wholeheartedly invite you into that.
Thank you.
I don't care what people think of my opinion anymore. I don't care what people think of the way I look anymore. I don't care. I simply don't care. So I am to the point where if I'm going to a baby shower, I'm going to throw a Lily's chocolate bar into my purse. Don't do that in the summer, by the way, because you'll forget about it and you'll have a mess. But I'm going to throw the stuff that I can enjoy because I know I want to enjoy that with my friends. And I'm going to pull that Lily's chocolate bar out and I'm going to eat a piece of chocolate with my coffee. Yeah. I don't care that you have cake on your plate. I don't care that I'm not eating their mince, but I do care that I kind of want to enjoy myself. And I don't like restriction. So you can be in the I don't care movement. We'll teach you how. Maybe that's a podcast that we can do. How to join the We Do Not Care Club. Because you get to the point where you just don't care, especially if you've pushed through that diet culture attitude of I'm going to fail. If you push through that, you can walk right into the We Do Not Care Club.
Yeah.
You get a free pass. It's free. Here's your free ticket. We do not care what you think of us.
I think we can also, because people are like, well, that sounds just so, I don't know, so drama, like dramatic.
Again, we do not care.
But we don't care. I think that another way of saying, because I love the We Do Not Care Club, because I honestly, I pretty much have zero filter most of the time anyway. I'm going to say what's on my mind. And I've done that in a gracious way, like where I do kind of pick and choose. So I guess I am kind of filtering, but I will just be bold
You're
and
using
honest.
wisdom in the We Do Not Care Club.
Yes,
We don't
but
stupid people there.
I think actually embracing your self and who you are and who God created you to be, instead of letting society mold you into what they want you to be.
Yeah.
So I think we can be I don't care club, but it's in I'm embracing who I am and
Like you
understanding
said last
me.
night, I love myself enough.
Yeah. I love myself enough to not necessarily care what society tells me that I should care about.
Yeah. Yeah. Each one of those things that we mentioned, the addiction, the metabolic issues, the the social, each one of those is an entire journey in and of itself. It's an entire session on how to deal with each one of those. But since we're only here, for a half hour once a week, we do a bird's eye view of why the diet is failing and what could you possibly do to fix each one of those. And we don't necessarily fix them all at once. Maybe we spend a season of our life applying, sending in our applications to the We Do Not Care Club. Maybe that is what we're working on right now. Whereas another person who comes to me with type 2 diabetes comes to me, we got to put everything else on hold and we got to get our sugar down. I have 2 clients right now on this very program. I don't care what's going on. I need you to think medically right now because we need to save your life, right? So we pause everything else. I pause the macros. I pause I pause all of that while we get our sugars down. So we want you to know that, yeah, you failed diets because you quit. But if you don't take a layer deeper, if you don't take that next step to say, okay, why did I quit? You're going to fail, right? And you're going to quit and you're going to do the cycle. And I think you and I have brought some validity to in some background research as to why what we're saying is true. We've lived this for 8 years. We've walked this same path that you did. I was almost 300 pounds at my highest, and I took off 130 naturally. And not only did I do that naturally, and same with you, Darcy, we've kept it off. June will be 9 years for me. So I think we've got some beef behind our resumes. Now, you can keep doing the diet cycle. You can do that for the rest of your life. If that's your choice and that makes you happy, more power to you. Keep going on that cycle of shame and shame and shame. That's fine. If you're tired of that, we've got your map. We've got a way out for you. And we've lived it and we're living it now. So try all of the things. When you're ready, say, you know what? I think those silly coaches maybe have some backing behind what they're saying. Maybe I should try it and do it right. Now, that comes with a lot of hard work. I'm just going to tell you, that comes with a lot of hard work. We cry with our clients. We weep with them. We celebrate with them. We go through their stressful life. We had a client this week who lost a family member. We're walking through that grief with her, right? Because during those seasons, it is really hard to stay on plan. It is really hard. But when you understand that you're so tired of the diet cycle, you're like, all right, take my hand, walk with me. That's what I need you to do. So
I think that's you pinpoint the portion that why support changes everything as well. Yeah. Being able to have the support in your life is really important, and who you choose to be the supporter is really important, because you can't just choose anybody to be your support, because they may not be on the same page as you. They may not understand what you are doing. They may not be in the same season as you. So having a good support system, like our group, is a great support system. Like if you need a good group and you don't have one, you can't find one, we have a group that would just open-armed come and say, come on, child, come here, let me hear about it.
Yeah.
Because they've walked a very similar path. I think if you can find somebody, like I have an amazing workout buddy. She's more than a workout buddy now because we've gained this relationship and we can hold each other accountable. We're able to, push each other in a healthy way to get stronger in the gym.
Yeah.
And that we're not going to be offended by like, hey, you need to lift heavier. What are you doing? You're lifting too light. Just a good, healthy way. So that support changes everything in building your foundation.
Yeah.
You cannot have a firm foundation without a good support.
Yeah. And on the other side of that support, the tool that we use right now with the CGM is priceless. Like knowing instantly, you don't have to wait any longer for your coach to say, hey, let's take this out. Let's try this. Let's try this angle. You've got that immediate data right there that we know instantly. Okay, I see this spike on your CGM. I see that this is what you ate when you had it. Let's do this. We have that immediate. So we not only have the emotional support, the peer support, but we have the tool that gives us immediate coaching direction. Because before, all you and I had was, okay, I think this may be impacting your body. Let's try it for a week. Let's try removing this for a week and see what happens to the scale. And all we had was the scale. Now we have live data on that particular body so that we know, okay, this is it. Let's remove it, right? Not only let's remove it, but let's replace it with something else that gives you joy. That's just as important as well. So we hope this has been encouraging to you today. Some of ours are, hard balls. Some of them are just, hey, have you thought of this? Have you thought of, do you really need support? Do you need to do something to stop this cycle of gaining? And how do you know you're on the cycle? Well, you try something, you restrict, you lose weight, you gain it back. You lose the same 5 pounds over and over again. That's how you know you need help. And that's just data that is black and white, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the biggest also is stop blaming willpower.
Yes.
For the failure, because if you're not focused on building the systems, you can't blame willpower for something that you haven't built yet. So
right, exactly.
Yeah.
If this has been encouraging to you, please share it with your family and friends. Go to our website, kmhealthcoaching.org. If you know you've been on that cycle and you're ready to do the hard things, reach out to one of the coaches on there, get on do a free health assessment before you enroll in any program, because we want to make sure you're in the right program. So Coach Darcy's calendar is on the website. My calendar's on the website. We recommend minimum of 3 months. So that our 3-month package is our signature package, just because we know that's the one that works. 75% of all self-help books are sitting on the shelf. I don't recommend our self-help program because, again, you've missed those other points. 3 months with you gives us the tools that we need to walk you through those seasons of life and to walk you through real life. And then you can decide, okay, after that 3 months, I'm great to go, coach, or hey, I need you to keep walking with me. So that's how we work our program. Very affordable. We are soon upcoming. I don't even think I've announced this. I think I might have said on Facebook once, but we are going to have create your own payment plans. So we have access now to Affirm and Klarna, I believe. And so we recommend, if you're doing one of the big packages, make your own payment plan. Do that. That comes out, I think, the middle of February. So that is exciting news, because sometimes people are like, hey, I don't have this on the front side of things. Can I make payments? And now you will be able to do that. So we're pretty excited about that.
And another thing is that we are back on the podcast. If you've missed it, we have season 2, and then we have an episode. Well, we have episode 2 coming up this Tuesday.
Yep, tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow? Are you sure it's tomorrow?
Tomorrow, Tuesday podcast. Yes. She's thinking. She's thinking about what day tomorrow is. Yes, it will be up tomorrow.
On Wednesday.
Tomorrow's Tuesday. Oh, you're right.
Okay.
Wednesday. Oh my gosh.
So
I haven't-
Tuesdays, we have a podcast release. I think today is one about the busy season for you tax gurus and law firm people. So this one's for you.
That's right. It did come out today.
Yes.
Go over to Beyond the Scale, Weight Loss and Wellness, and you will find a tool guide for CPAs and attorneys or anybody else who's busy. So yes, thank you for getting me on the right day. It just feels like tomorrow is Tuesday, but it's not.
No.
All right, guys, it is so good to see you again. Let us know if we can help you, and we will be back on next Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take care, everybody.